and you hear us today, you'll understand more and more and more, you know, why God brought us together to share our story in one book. Because one book can travel millions of places. So in that, my part came up in 1983. I dated this man who we all want this tall, good-looking, light-skinned man, don't we? And he was just that. He was tall, light-skinned, and good-looking. And I dated him for 9 months. And he was the best boyfriend any woman could want. How many of you remember Dairy Queen? Remember Dairy Queen? Oh, yeah. In Mobile, Dairy Queen was a place everybody wanted to go to. You go there, you get to sit there and chat, eat your ice cream, hamburgers, whatever. Well, he knew I loved Dairy Queen, so every place in the world that I loved, he took me to. Okay, then after 9 months of dating him, he asked me to marry him. Well, my mom had 6 girls and 3 boys. Our dad was an alcoholic. He was a workaholic, but an alcoholic. Every functional, very functional. When it was time to go to work, he went to work. But when it was time to be off, he drunk. So he drunk his money up, and he gave it to women's. So my mom had one daughter in college, and that was Loretta. She was a year over me. So when it was time for me to graduate, Mom said, "Hey, you're gonna have to go to the military because I cannot send another one of y'all to college. I'm struggling with Loretta in there." So I decided, okay, I'm going to the military. Then this fear came on me. Everybody said, when you go in the military, you got to go through this oxygen tank. I could see myself going in there and getting suffocated. And never coming out. So I said, I can't go in the So that one thing going in the oxygen tank just stopped me right there. So then this man who had been good to me for 9 months asked me to marry him. So I said, hey, okay, I see my way out. I'm going to marry this man. So I did. Graduated June the 3rd, 1983. Got married June the 23rd, 1983. Only to find out that about 90 days later, 3 months later, he went from Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde. So he comes home from work. We living with his grandmother. He comes home from work. I'm sitting in the yard. Didn't even realize that I was probably a couple months pregnant. Just in the yard, kind of sick feeling. He drives up. He asks me. He said, "Hey, come in the house." I go in the house and go in the back bedroom. He immediately just grabbed my hair and hit me. I'm like, what happened? What's wrong? He said, I saw you in that yard out there flirting with that man across the street cutting that grass. Immediately, I did not even understand where this came from. Not realizing, y'all, that's already in there. He kept that a secret for those 9 months. Okay, out of that, I had 2 beautiful kids. So then I'm trapped because now I'm having babies. So then I figured, hey, I'm stuck in this. So here we go. We strong women. We think we can change them. Just keep on loving them. And then you can change them. I only found out you can't change nobody. Then I started giving up myself. Everything that I thought that he wanted me to get rid of so that I could be who he wanted me to be. Don't you know the more you give up yourself, the more they want? You'll find yourself drained. So after being married, let's say 10 years into the marriage, and then we have Jada. Jada's our daughter right here. And then we have Jada, and Jada gets about, 10 years into married, and Tony's 10, then we get Jada she probably about 2. So then he gets to where, okay, I'm not going to physical abuse her no more, because then Jada said. So then he just started mental abusing me. Now Tony, our oldest boy, Tony saw the physical abuse. And Tony started again adapt to physical abuse, meaning that Tony wants to help his mom. So Tony actually started getting part of the physical abuse, the hitting and different things. But for some reason, he needed Jada to always feel that, hey, I'm your dad. So Jada never did see a lot of the physical abuse, but she saw some of the mental abuse. So as Jada gets older and she gets 17 years old, she graduates, she wants to go off to college. So here she goes off to UAB, but here I am afraid. Because now I don't have anybody in the house. It's just me and him now. So I'm trying to figure out a way of how to stay safe. So here we go. Whatever you want me to do, I do it. So then it goes from being physical abuse for about the first 8, 9, 10 years. Then it goes to being verbal abuse. Then it goes to when Jada goes out to college, it becomes sexual abusive. How many know that you can break your spouse? Anytime a person say no, no means no. Now, don't get me wrong. We have some spouses where we say no, and then they just cuddle us through until we say yes. But that's through a loving way. But when you're being battered to do it and you don't want to do it, or you being just dominant, or I keep you woke all night and you're not gonna get no sleep, and you have to go to work the next day and you just tired and drained, and then the emotional abuse comes. Then how many know about 15 years into the marriage, emotional abuse came to where now I lived totally in fear of this man. Totally in fear. How many know that fear can grip you and paralyze you? And then now I'm not sharing it with nobody. Why? Because back then, you didn't hear people talking about domestic violence. You didn't hear nobody in your church talking about abuse. So now you're thinking that you're the only one that's going through this. Ain't nobody that's going through it. Then it becomes just natural. Hey, this just must be the way it is. And then you see your mom being abused, not physical abuse, but she's being mentally tormented because now her husband is making all this money, but he's not bringing none home. My dad was working at an international paper company in Mobile. That's one of the top paying jobs. So my mom struggling, having to get my grandma who was working at the school in the cafeteria just to bring food home to feed 9 children. I watched my mom some nights never eat because she feeding us what she could, and she go to sleep hungry. So I watched my mom go through being abused. Then I watched my grandmother. My granddad was a deacon at a church. But I watched him treating my grandmother so bad. And she was so quiet and humble and sweet, she didn't even say anything. I watched him sit up on the phone while she walking through the house. He talking to his girlfriends, younger women. I watched him sit there and paying these women phone bills and different things, So I watched her be emotional abuse. So it was like a generational curse. It's what I saw all the time. So I'm thinking it's okay. But then when I started seeing the isolation come in my marriage, where hey, he did whatever he had to do to cause all my friends to leave. I had no friends. He started telling me that Mary offered asking for money for sex. Then Mary come to find out, Mary said that didn't happen. So it got to the point to where nobody could come over. So at the last part of this, and maybe about 3 or 4 years before I left, he had actually related to that. Him and my son, our son had gotten into it, and he told me he didn't want the son over there no more. And then I knew then that something wasn't right because you isolate me from everybody. So when one day he left and went to work and came home, my son had just moved the dresser, maybe an inch or 2 over. And he came home, he asked me, who moved the dresser? And I said, what dresser? The dresser in the bedroom. I said, Tony. And he hit the dashboard so hard. And he said, I thought I told you I didn't want Tony at this house. I told you I didn't want Tony here. This your son. So I knew then that it had become something much more bigger than me. But I'm going to tell you, 6 months before my tragedy happened, this sister, which is Erica. Erica was married to Steve, and Erica and Steve had what we call living. They had just built them a home, and Erica had a gazebo out there where we drank coffee, and she had built her made her own fish pond. Jay can tell you, she had what every American would want. Her husband worked at the shipyard, made good money, and they just had everything they wanted. So 6 months before I left, and Erica called me, and remind you, my mom had 9 kids. So you know how you have the older set of kids and the younger set of kids, and so Erica was the younger set of kids. So the only time I really saw Erica was like when we came over to Mama's house or something like that. We didn't just talk on the phone or something, but she called me and asked me would I help her to come start studying her Bible. And I said, girl, you want me to help you study Bible? Because I was a minister by trade. He was a minister by calling. He was a minister by calling. He was also a licensed minister, ordained elder, and studying to be a pastor. And so we began to start going over to Erica Steve's house and helping them to start studying their Bible. She would drink, and she would smoke, and she would curse. She said, girl, I just want to stop drinking, smoking, and cursing. So in those 6 months, I saw her life change. She wasn't drinking anymore. She wasn't cursing anymore. And she was still smoking her little cigarettes. And I remember her saying one day, she said, girl, if I can just get rid of these cigarettes, I feel so much better. I said, let me tell you something. He don't deliver you from drinking. He don't deliver you from cursing. Guess what? If you die with them cigarettes, his grace is sufficient. I said, don't you sit there and condemn yourself over a cigarette. And so she just was so happy, and we went to Atlanta we were selling life insurance. We went to a conference, and all these people were there, and some of my friends and stuff. So the company had paid for us to go, so we was just had all these king size beds and stuff. And that night, everybody was just doing whatever they wanted to do, and she jumped in bed with me. I said, "Why you got to sleep with me?" I said, "I want to sleep with Miss Cent." She said, "No, girl, I'm sleeping in bed with you." And she grabbed her Bible and got in the bed with me and slept with me in the bed with her Bible. And that weekend, that same exact weekend, her daughter had came to me and she said, you just don't make my mama act just like you. I said, "What you mean?" She said, "My mama say," she said, "You know how you be saying, I don't do people, I do ministry." She said, "My mama talking, I don't do people, I do ministry." And I just saw her whole life change. And so the weekend before the tragedy happened, we had went up there, and so her Steve was building a man cave outside. And my ex-husband time was helping Steve build a man cave. Him and Steve worked on the same job together and everything. And so Steve walked in the house, and Eric was in the house, and Steve passed by. He kissed her and he patted her like that. And it was the will of God. She was talking about death. She said, "You know what?" She said, "If I die tomorrow, I'm going to tell God, if you take me and Steve, please put us in a different room." And how many of you know that they died together? But let me tell you this. So the weekend before all of that happened, and she had got her life right and everything. And so I left after a night of torment, a night of nothing but sexual torment, to the point to where he wanted me to act like a prostitute this particular night. And then I told him, I begged him, "Don't make me do this." And he knew how I was. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that a husband and a wife can do whatever they want to do in their bedroom. But when you don't feel the love, there are things you just ain't gonna want to do. Right. Okay, so he was trying to make me do things I didn't want to do, and I was just asking him, "Please don't, please don't." Well, anyway, he said that I was gonna do those things. So I'm trying to change his mind and tell him, "Don't make me do these things." He said, "Yes, you are." So then when I agreed to do these things, I said, "Please just let me get right here on the bed." And he said, "No, you're gonna get on your knees and do this." It was nothing I could see in his eyes. It was nothing but Satan. So I immediately did some of the things he wanted me to do, and I woke up and he went to sleep. And now the thing about it is, he would do these things to me and then turn over and go to sleep like ain't nothing ever happened. By the grace of God, I am who I am, because so many women would have put something dead in his heart. Yeah. But I thank God that I am who I am. So I told God, I said, "God, if you let him wake up in the morning and you let him go to work and you let me live, I'm out here." So immediately I did that. When he left, I left. And so I was gone for 30 days. But in those 30 days, when I got ready to leave, I heard the voice of God say, "When you leave this time, cut off all communication. Because if you don't, you're going to come back. It's going to be your last time." So I cut off all communication for 30 days. He was angry. He started going to my family house and stopping them, getting them 10 wild boys. Didn't nobody know but the one sister that I was living with in Mississippi. And we had already made a decision we wasn't going to tell anybody. So he went to Eric and Steve's house, and the lady across the street said she could hear, but she couldn't see that these people were arguing. And he left. Then he came back, and that's when she heard the gunshots when he came back. Well, according to the police, and they did have cameras and everything, what happened was he came back in the second time. He came back for the second time. When he went out the first time, he had slid her keys in his pocket. So he came back, he immediately went in. So when he opened the door, she was in the kitchen, and he shot her 3 times. And they say it wasn't fatal. But what happened was when Steve heard the gunshot, he ran out the bedroom. When he ran out the bedroom, they got the tussle, and he shot Steve in his left temple. Well, when he shot Steve in his left temple, he heard Erica doing something to her cell phone. So she was crawling to get her cell phone. She got the cell phone, and she takes help. But she takes help to the last person, which was her brother-in-law. So that's when he saw her takes help, and that's when he got a set of butcher knives she had counted, and he stabbed her 4 times in her back, and that's what killed her. So he immediately, out of anger, went back to Steve, and I realized that Steve was already dead from the gunshot, and he stabbed Steve 21 times. Mm-hmm. So after that, he went through the house, and he gathered clothes, and he got clothes, and he went outside and got the lighter fluid, and he came in, and he set the house afire. Burned over 75% of the body. Only for their daughter, who had been to college, to come home that same day probably within good 20 minutes, and was able to save them from being burnt up by going and sharing with the neighbors that came and they called 911. Now, he stayed with us for 2 days while we grieved. And while we grieved for 2 days, he was there with us. Now, my brother who's a mobile phone cop, he found out on the 3rd day that it was him. By him being a police officer all most of his life, he was able to discern. So they called me I was on the front, my brother was in the back. My brother called me, he said, my sergeant here ready to call you. I said, for what? He said, we think you had some good. So when his captain called me, I said, yeah, I do believe he's capable of murder. So they went to the house and they staked out the house until he got there. When they did, they went in and they found some clothes that he had just washed and some shoes he had just washed and laid on the bed, and the guy put him on the fluorescent light, and that was the blood. So he didn't fight the fact that he did it very long, that he didn't fight the innocent, he didn't play the innocent game very long. Maybe probably 2 or 3 days or a week he didn't understand that he did it, but he wanted the death penalty. He didn't want to try, he wanted the death penalty. But me and my sister and them, us being raised in the church all of our life, we didn't want them dead. We wanted him life without possibility, whatever, life ever being out. And that's what he received. So in that, once that happened, my mom went from just like me and you to maybe 3 months later, she went on 24-hour oxygen, never breathed on her own again. And then I remember that I was going to do a 1-year celebration of their death. 1 year. So in the 11th month of that one, before that first year, I asked my mom, what does she want to do in the celebration? She said, I don't want to do nothing. I don't even really want to be a part of the celebration. I don't even want to see that 1 year. My mom died 1 day before their 1 year. God granted her her wish. She did not want it. We buried my mom we buried my mom the same Saturday 1 year as their death. So in the midst of that, I said all of this. I didn't think I was going to be able to survive the grief and the pain and the sorrow. But my mom told my sister, I'm sorry about it, but my mom told my sister, my sister said, they called me Peaches. So my sister said, Mom, I think Peaches think that you blame her. So my mom said, no, I don't blame her. Because either way, that day, I was going to lose a child. Whether it be her or whether it be Eric. So that gave me a lot of peace. So God in his grace was able to just restore me back to my original state and even more stronger than I was. So now that's what I do. I travel and I share my story and I mentor to young women and young boys on how to recognize. I've been to high school, middle schools. Even in the middle schools, you'll be amazed at the young ladies that are like 12 or 13 that comes up to me and tell me how they are being abused by young boys. You know, that someone thinking about committing suicide, but they don't want to go through, the abuse. And so, out of that, I was a ministry called Not the Age, ministry called Victim. And what we do there is that we're 501c3. What we do is we help women and men, because like I said, there's a man non-hurt man who needs some help because his wife is violence. And so we help those people to come out. And so once I had actually about 2-3 years before my tragedy happened, I already had the desire to write a book on domestic violence because I was living it for so long. I knew that I had to tell it, just didn't know how, when. And then when Bridget found me and told me the vision that God had given her to write a book on women that have been in abuse, have came out and now have their wings to fly. Plus, we help other women to gain their wings to fly, and that's what we do. So we get ready to do a conference and a seminar in October, and now I work with the NAACP now. And we're getting ready to do a big event in Mobile. The NAACP, they want me to travel with them, and so that we can spread the word, keep the word going, share the word, and just be a light for so many people that's in a dark place. I lived in a dark place for so long, and then in 2017, I had a nervous breakdown. 2007, I had a nervous breakdown. Would not wish that upon anyone. I was to the place where I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, I was just in a horrible, horrible pit. And they had to restore me back to life through holistics. Holistics. Yes. So we have somebody here today that's going to share their story that actually I needed that person at that time, but God used somebody else. But this person is actually going to be able to tell you today how you can even keep your body your temple clean. So when you do go through different things, different phases of life, you'll be able to, you'll be able to have a better way of overcoming. Thank you all for being here, listening to my story, and helping me to be able to share this around the world. All right. Thank you.
Didn't I tell y'all? You told her. I'm telling y'all, nothing but grace. Nothing but grace. Do you hear me? To live through that is nothing but grace. To even come out of there with your right mind. I mean, I used to hear the old saints say, Lord, I thank you for keeping me in my right mind. And you know, you didn't never know what that was like until you heard them say it, and better yet, experienced it. But when you go through trauma like that, to come out with your right mind is a big thing. Just your right mind, and that's awesome. So we telling the victorious side, come on, let's clap. When I met her, I was like, you need to write a book today. Not tomorrow, today. I did a prayer line, y'all. I met Roslyn on the prayer line. And I mean, there's different things that God have told me to do at different times. It didn't make sense to a lot of people, but it made sense to me. And I was obedient. I do it for how long God tell me to do it, then I move on to the next thing. How many of y'all know God can move you? Just like this boat move across this ocean, God can move you. Yes. Because we have to grow. Yes. He cursed the tree that it wasn't growing, right? All right. He cursed the tree and said, you ain't good for nothing if you ain't growing. And this next queen knows something about growing too. Yes. She got the healthy journey, y'all. She was good for us. We need it. Because I'm going to tell y'all, I like pork chops, but I gave them up. Pork chops was my friend, especially fried. Fried pork chops was my friend. And slowly I walked away from the fried pork chops. I said, I don't want to do fried pork chops again. Because pork became my enemy. I tried to eat some pork the other day. I was just ill. I tried this morning. Didn't eat it either. I was like, that's the only sausage they got. Y'all ain't got no turkey, no beef, nothing. I tried it. Put it back down. I couldn't even do it. So, Rashina Kara is our next queen. She is all the way from Delaware. She came a long way to New Orleans to get on this boat. Yes. And I'm so happy to have her as an author in this book because what she shared is really life-giving to the physical body. Amen. Because how many of y'all know we ain't no good being rich and unhealthy? Having a bunch of money laid up in the hospital ain't no good. Better get rich and dead. Somebody else gonna spend your money. Okay, come on, somebody else gonna spend it.
Great day, everyone. How's everyone feeling? Fine. All right, I can't hear that. Fine, phenomenal, fantastic. Grateful. Yes, grateful. Well, I am truly blessed to be here before you to share my story. The thing that resonated me to this project, to work with Queen Bridget and the other queens, was being able to share educational information with others. And that's what I believe in. You don't know until someone makes you aware. And that's what my journey is about. It's not about converting people over to being a vegan lifestyle because you don't force anybody into anything. It's always by choice. But a person can't have that choice until you educate them on what their options are. For me, I grew up in a household in Philadelphia, born and raised Philly, where we did eat meat products. I was not vegan by birth. But going through my journey in childhood, I learned that there were some things that didn't agree with my body, and I didn't know why. After further research of learning about my blood type, which I challenge all of you to do that. If you do not know your blood type, that's the number one key. Learn your blood type so you know what you can put in your body and what's going to help your body to be able to be more energetic and not to be so tired and run down and feeling ill all the time. And that's what my experience was about. I'm actually AB negative, which means I'm not allowed to eat meat because it's toxic to my body. A lot of people don't know that it's a rare blood type. Most people is O positive or A or B. Me, I have the rare one, and I'm good for that. But learning what you can put into your body actually helps you. And once you learn what food products you can put into your body, then you can be able to start to eat the right way. I have nothing against meat eaters. I'm not that kind of vegan that say, oh, you shouldn't eat meat, this and the third. You eat whatever you want to eat, but just make sure you're eating something that's healthy for you. Organic products, grass-fed products, and also wild pork if you want to do the seafoods. So that's the information that I share in my journey about the book. Also, when you're doing any type of healing to your body, for just turned 40, so I think I'm doing good for children later. So I think I'm doing very well.
Yes.
Okay. So that's what I talk about in my journey, the transformation of being vegan. The other part of the book that I talk about is from coming from a corporate background, working in an environment for myself and build my own brand. Because at the end of the day, if you're not for your own brand, you're not living. And that's what I was able to do for myself after working in a corporate environment for 17 years. So I appreciate you guys being here and being able to share this experience with us.
All right. Awesome. Beautiful queen. Beautiful.
All right.
Beautiful queen.
So we won't force y'all to give up the pork chops tonight. Y'all gotta do it. Don't say, we went to a celebration and they said we can't have pork. We won't force you. It's by choice.
Oh, it's by choice.
It's by choice. She don't force me. She didn't tell me, Bridget, give up the pork right now. I did, because when you eat pork and you see your blood pressure go through the ceiling of the truck, I drive truck, y'all. I'm a truck driver. So my blood pressure would literally, I could feel it. You can feel your blood pressure when it's rising, like my head gets to hurting. I could feel it going through my whole body. I was like, okay, so either you gonna keep eating this pork or you gonna be dead. Which one do you want? I lived through too much to kill myself with a pork chop. Don't let the pork chop take me out. Now, other queen is my sister from another mister. I met her in another business project, 2013, and we just bonded, like immediately. Like when I seen her, she saw me. Be like, me, yeah, just like that. And it's been love ever since. And, you know, God just brings people into your life that's good for you. You know what I'm saying? And after going through all of that, I needed somebody coming in my life that was good for me. So her name is Stacey Page. She hails from Memphis, Tennessee. And she's going to come tell y'all about stepping out on faith. I'm mad because she got a cute shirt than mine. I messed up my shirt, y'all. I had to wear my black shirt. I messed up. You see, we got shirts alike. But she come adding a shoe. Fancy. They do regular butterfly. You on the street. Well, come on, be fancy. Thanks, praise, y'all.
Amen. Amen.
How you doing and feeling today?
Amen.
Great. Okay, like you said, my name is Stacey Boyce Page. Tell you a little bit about myself. I am married. Married for like 7 years in my second marriage. I have 7 kids, really like a blended family. I turned 50 years old yesterday.
Yes, you did. Hey.
And I'm a grandma. All right. So I just want to tell you a little bit about my story. I didn't write about domestic violence. I wrote about stepping out on faith. So my first book that I wrote was.
Yeah. No, that's not it.
Okay. My first book is called Unidentified Stalker Close to Death. It's a fiction. It can be about anybody's life because there's domestic violence in it. There's mental health in it. It's just different stuff that's going on with people. It's like 2 people that fell in love, but their past come back. So, like Bridget told me, the end kind of messed her up.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
She ain't right.
you gotta wait for the next one.
Got to wait on the next
Yeah.
one.
Oh, yeah. So, what made me finally just, because it took me, I want to say like 2 years to write my book. So what made me really go on and just do it, I was working at a company that we sold cars. So I worked in customer service, calling people in to do oil changes and stuff like that. So I'm sitting at the desk, I'm like, okay, I get this book, I'm at this job. Job was okay, laid back. I was like, this ain't what I want to do. So I did that for 3 years. I'm at my desk, answering phones, making appointments, and writing my book at the same time. They said, you up there writing? I said, I sure am. I sure am. So when I gave them my 2 weeks notice, and my 2 weeks notice said, I am going to put in my 2 weeks notice because I want to enjoy my life while I still can. So, because they kept asking, what you gonna do? I said, I'm gonna do what I want to do. Enjoy my life. So that was my first time stepping out on faith. I was nervous. I said, okay, you gonna do this, you gonna do it. Even though I didn't have anybody just behind me saying, okay, girl, go on do it. No, I was like, I motivated myself more so than anybody saying, okay. Because my mom even asked me, she said, why you quitting your job with all those good benefits? I'm like, because I want to. I won't be in no job 50 years, you know. I want to enjoy my life. I'm still young. You know, I don't want to be like, okay, I'm waiting on this Social Security to come in. And, no. That wasn't me. Because I'm not that type of person. I'm not original, like she said with my shirt. I'm not original. I'm different. I don't like being like everybody else. You stand out like that when you're not like everybody else. So when I wrote my book, this young lady contacted me. I think she contacted Bridget too, to have my book put in a museum in Anderson, South Carolina. So me and my daughter and her friend, we got in the car. I think she got off like 12 o'clock in the morning. We got in the car, 1:30, going to South Carolina from Memphis, Tennessee. That's an 8-hour drive. She hadn't had any sleep. I had a little bit, but I was still kind of like, do I want to do that? I kept saying, I don't want to go. Maybe she'll change her mind. I don't want to go. I said, no, you finna get up and go. So we got on the road. We got there. When we got there right before the event started. So when we got there, the event started. We told our story. We did little interviews and stuff like that. And we got right back on the road. So it was like little to no sleep going back home. So I was driving, going home, and she was in the front seat. Her friend was in the back. So I guess I kind of dozed out from a little bit from being so sleepy. I almost hit the back of a truck. So just so happened, she woke me up before I hit this truck. I was like, I'm glad she was in the car with me. Because if she hadn't been, or if she had been asleep, you know, I wouldn't be standing right here today talking to y'all about anything. So after that, we got back and we got put in the museum and stuff like that. So I said, okay, what else are you gonna do? I said, cool. Because I'm also a licensed esthetician, medical esthetician, so I do facials, waxing, medical esthetician stuff too. So I still kind of do that too, because I love doing it. I love helping people get their beauty back on. So when Bridget, well, actually, before she approached me, she said, well, I'm going to do an anthology with some women. Okay, I said, okay, that's a good idea. I didn't know I was going to be part of it. I wasn't expecting. She said, you want to be? I said, sure. I said, no problem. So I said, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did because I got to meet some wonderful ladies, and it's a few other ladies that aren't here today that I know one of them and the other one I haven't met yet. But I'm looking forward to meeting them too. But I'm just glad that I stepped out on faith. And I tell people, step out on faith. Do what you want to do. Don't let no job confine you. But do what you want to do that's going to make you happy. So I always tell people, live your life on purpose and with purpose. Amen.
All right.
That's a statement. Live your life on purpose. With a purpose.
Yes.
Because y'all know we only got so much time to be here. We know we come here and we leave here. What we do in between that gap is our business. And we can't allow, you know, a job just to dictate your purpose. Because God didn't make you just to work. He didn't make you just to work. I worked for Waffle House 17 years before I even did anything else. And I enjoyed my job because I like working with people. If y'all can't tell, I like working with people. I learned to connect and work with people, working with drunk folks, okay? Drunk folks that just left the club and they ain't got no sense, okay? All they want is some hash browns, scattered mother covered. All the time.
Okay.
It's the grill, not a microwave. It's the grill. Constantly. These are people, but I really thank y'all for coming.
Yes.
Because this is so important to us. We have some queens that are not here, like Stacey said, and we want to send love to those queens. We were able to go live, I thank God.
Amen.
We was able to go live because we promised everybody we would go live. And the internet just been a little shady a bit. I know Carmen. Thank you, Carmen, for y'all in there a little shady. Okay, I'm just saying, you know, the internet was a little, we are in the middle of the ocean, so I thank God we're able to go live so other people can see. I have other authors, and I do want to mention them. All my other Divine Excellence authors, you are an honorable mention at this Divine Affair. Should have been here. I love you. Just joking out, but a lot of them live all over the country. So, for one, we have one author, she's a chaplain in the military, so she has drill and a bunch of other stuff. She couldn't make it. So everybody has life issues, but for those of us who were able to make it, we appreciate y'all taking the time to come in and celebrate with us, because you could have been on the Lido deck. You understand? And, you could have been out there doing I was out there on the first day I was doing it. I was out there. I like the dance, y'all. I really appreciate you all. And for y'all coming, if you have not got your gift from me, I had everybody sign the guest list, but I'm giving everybody both copies. I got this enough, y'all. I think I'm gonna try to give everybody both copies of my first 2 books.
Man.
I wrote about my life.
Amen.
I want y'all to read it. Y'all don't make a coaster out of it. Just read it first. Go to Amazon and leave me a review, because I don't know how to get better if you don't tell me. You know,
Amen.
If I forgot a comma, just Facebook me, girl. You forgot a comma on the line 3. And I'm gonna say, okay, I won't get offended. I'm gonna say, yes, ma'am. I'm gonna come on, man. Thank you. Yeah. But I think the story will impact you. If you have anybody in your life that's been affected by domestic violence, health issues. My mother is dealing with cancer right now. So I talked to Sheena about those type of things, because just her eating could help her live longer. That's right. The doctors don't know what to do.
Go
They
organic.
just sent my mama home from the hospital right before I came on this cruise with no answers. You understand? But hey, you know
Amen.
he's the answer.
That's
Come
what
on,
I'm
man.
saying.
Don't make me run down.
Need that.
Listen, he's the answer. You know, the Lord actually told me to share with her. She needs to receive her healing the same way she received medicine from a doctor. She just needs to receive it.
But that's what he does. For him to get all the glory,
That's right.
he has to let the doctor send her home.
Yes.
So when it happens, he
He
gets
can
the
get the
glory.
glory.
right.
Didn't we talk about that this morning?
He does.
He does.
Also, I just wanted to say something. Not only is her section of the book telling you how to go vegan, but she gives you vegan recipes. She gives you vegan ideals. She gives you vegan products. And she also tells you that you don't have to go, full blast vegan. You can do 2 nights a week vegan, and it'll flush your system out.
So it's a step-by-step process, and
Yes.
so we just really thank y'all once again for taking time out to come be with us. We got cake, y'all. I didn't know cake was gonna be this big. It was for the birthday celebration, and
It's so
good.
delicious. Yes.
It's good. I
Yes.
put my
Yes.
Look,
Everything in place here.
I got a big pumpkin. That's when you know the food is good. Right. So good. And I'm just going to say but it's good food. When you close your eyes, you know that's it. So I once again, I'm so thankful for y'all joining us. I'm going to sign these and get them to y'all. But keep in contact with us. We have the sauces that we're gonna cut some cake for everybody as well. I hope everybody enjoyed. You have to get you a nice cocktail. And I was praying somebody showed up because you know we paid to have somebody show up and drink the drinks because all of us don't drink. You know what I'm saying? I tried to skip a little bit, y'all don't get it, but y'all as y'all see my drink over there in the morning. And you know, some things the Lord just have to take away from you. For a greater purpose. Yes. You understand? So I don't want y'all she got alcohol, can I talk about Jesus?
She got a comedian thing going on too.
That's my side club. Somebody told me I need to be a comedian. I'm like, it just comes natural. I ain't good. That's just me. That's who I am. Anybody that know me, I'm a cut up. Like I like to have fun. I don't think anybody should come to the event and be bored to sleep. Because what we wrote about is about life. Amen. So we want to laugh and we want to smile and we want to enjoy. We don't want to come here and say, well, you know, the Lord is so good. His mercy endures. Y'all would be looking at me like, is that what she invited us to do? To look at her in the chair like, what? Y'all be asleep with your drinks in your hand. Oh, praise the Lord. So thank y'all. I'm gonna sign this and I'm gonna stop talking. And I want y'all to enjoy the rest of your cruise. We did on the last day, so everybody can already have had all the fun. So you just resting and getting ready to prepare. I pray safe travel for everyone as you go back home. For each one of us, because we all came from different places. But keep in touch with us. Let us know if anything we said was a help to you, your family. You may have somebody. You know, I have a sister in Christ. Her daughter, I watched the child go from a baby to an adult. And she was killed. She was stabbed multiple times, and the guy set the house on fire, and I knew her. So to experience people that you know, she was young. She was in her 20s. And to die like that, you can't be quiet. How can I be quiet on my life? You understand that? I have a part in the book too. I wrote about the power being put out. I didn't even tell y'all about that. How many of y'all know being put out ain't always a bad thing? Hey, that's my section, the power of being put out. The last chapter in the book. Being put out is not always a bad thing. I used to whine and they don't love me. I ain't fooling with them no more. You cut off. I ain't dealing with you no more. That's the knife. There go the knife again. You pick up that knife every time you want to hold on to that anger. You know what? I ain't get put out. Y'all set me up for my purpose. Y'all set me up to do it myself. You set me up to trust God and step out on faith like Stacey said. You set me up to go in on and do what God ordained me to do anyway, and then stand with Him. Stand with if God be for me. Ooh. So, you know, I tell the story about, you know, being put out at the last minute. You know, you got kids and people just say, get out. I want my space back. Y'all taking up too much of my space. And they know you were, I told you, I work at Waffle House. I'm working hard, overnight. I got teenagers. I'm just trying to get them graduated. That's how in high school. But you get put out in the middle of the night over and over and over again, like, okay, Jesus, am I gone? Are you trying to throw me overboard? I don't know. What's happening here? I don't know. Did I do something wrong, Jesus? I'm sorry. What did I do? I'm sorry. What's going on? Okay, I need to know. Like, why do people keep putting me out? Like, and I mean, these people I pay. You understand? Yeah. I give them all my money. I tip money. Come on, here you go. How much you need? I'm giving you money.
Yeah.
I'm not just coming to your house eating up all your food. I had to have the EBT card. I done broke y'all for the stamps and everything. And you still gonna put me out. That's all it is. I give you all the food, all the money, and I got to go. That's what people will do for you. I mean, they put you out, that's it. But when they put me out, they only push me. So right here. Here I am. It's 2018. Guess what? I'm still standing, y'all. I know y'all ready to go. We gonna get y'all some cake. Okay, bathroom break. The bathroom is right around the corner.
It's across the way.
Across the way. All right, right across the way. But thank y'all, Facebook Live. We gonna go because we got things to do. We love y'all. Bye bye.
Thank you for joining us. Take care.